Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badharayanam Sutrabhashya Kritav Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadguram Brahmavidvaram Sadguram Brahmavidvaram Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Hari. So, well-qualified student has approached the teacher as he should. And then he described his condition, pitiable condition. And he said he is drowning in samsara. He is being roasted by the fire of samsara. And he wants to be saved. He had beautifully, very poetically prayed for compassion. Katam tareyam bhavasindhumetam kavagatirme katamostyupayah janena kinchit kripayavamam prabho samsara dukkha kshatimatanushva. I don't know how to cross over this ocean of samsara. I don't know what will happen to me. I don't know what my goal is and the means to reach the goal. That also I don't know. Please put an end to my suffering. So when the student has approached the guru like that, Tatavadantam Sharanagatam Swam Samsaradava Nalatapataptam Nirikshya Karunyarasartha Drishtya Dadyadapitim Sahasa Mahatma. The guru first assures the student, gives the assurance, looks at the student with a tremendous amount of infinite compassion, and immediately makes the student fearless, confident, and courageous. In Shankaracharya, the Guru should Vidwan satasma upasatti miyushe mumukshave sadhu yatokta karine prashanta chittaya shamanvitaya tatvopadesham kripayaiva kuryat. So the Guru should give that well qualified student that knowledge of the absolute reality and nothing else. And he should do so with utmost compassion. And a true Guru will definitely do that. Goes without saying. The Guru will certainly give that knowledge. Now let us see how the teacher begins the teaching. Shri Guru Ruvacha Ma Vaishtavidvam Stavanastyapayah Ma Vaishtavidvam Stavanastyapayah Samsara Sindho Taranestyupayah Samsara Sindho Taranestyupayah Yenaiva Yata Yatayosya Param येनैव याता यतयोऽस्य पारं तमेव मार्गं तव निर्दिशामि तमेव मार्गं तव निर्दिशामि मा वैष्टविद्वांस्तवनास्त्यपायः संसारसिन्धोः तरणेऽस्त्युपायः येनैव याता यतयोऽस्य पारं तमेव मार्गं तव निर्दिशामि. So that Guru says, first, Ma Bhaishta, fear not. Do not be anxious. This is the most important statement. Do not be worried. Don't panic. Oh, Vidwan. He calls the student Vidwan. Vidwan. Vidwan means the intelligent one, the learned one, the informed student. This is not just glorification, it's fact also. We've already seen the qualifications of the student. He has thought about his life experiences. Based on that, he has discrimination. He has Vivekacu. He has dispassion, Vairagya. And he had made the right decision, coming to the teacher, approaching the Guru, seeking help. So the Guru has observed all that. He has heard the student. So he knows that this is a qualified student. So he calls him Vidwan. May you not be frightened. Ma Bhaishta. Tava apayah nasti. There is no danger for you. I know you are suffering and all that, but you are not in danger. There is samsara sindhoho tarane asti upaya. Upaya. Method is there. Cross over samsara sindhu. Cross over the ocean of samsara. There is a method. So have no fear. You need not be afraid. See, it's just like when a patient goes to a doctor, start describing his symptoms. I'm not talking about simple sniffles, cold, little fever and all that. But something more serious disease. So he goes, describes everything. Doctor listens patiently and he says, don't you worry. Your disease can be cured. Even as he or she listens to those words from the doctor, the patient will get tremendous consolation. The very thought that whatever disease he has can be cured, so relieving to the patient. Half his problems are solved right there. In the same way, here also, the Guru assures him there is a cure for this samsara disease. And he further adds, this is not an experimental method. This is not a drug or treatment that is still under testing. FDA has approved it, people have been using it, and it is time tested. I'm not going to use you as a guinea pig. It has worked on every human being who has sincerely taken to this path. And no student has been disappointed following this method. Therefore, the Guru says, Yena eva, by this path only, this path alone, Yatayaha asya param yata. Many seekers, those who strive, those spiritual aspirants, have reached the end of this samsara. They have seen the other shore of this ocean of samsara. Yatayaha literally means sannyasinah, sannyasi. But sannyasa represents here commitment, giving up every other pursuit. A sannyasi commits himself only to the spiritual pursuit. Mumukshutvam, intense desire for gaining moksha. So sannyasa ashrama represents a committed spiritual pursuit, but anyone who is mentally prepared to sacrifice everything for moksha, you can still call him or her a sannyasi. So a committed person, dedicated person is called yatihi. And so Bhashyakara says, yatayah, many committed seekers, diligent seekers, spiritual seekers, asya param yata, have reached the other shore of that samsara. So in the past, many sincere seekers have crossed over samsara very successfully. So you can also reach. Do not worry. And if you want a guide, I am here to guide you. Tameva margam, the very same path followed by the traditional people, tava nirdeshami, I shall teach you. So the Guru claims that I myself am a traditional Guru because I've come in the Guru Sishya Parampara. Now these days there are many people who criticize you if you say that you are traditional. They laugh at you. They think what they say is new and fresh and something different. Then only they are considered original researchers. But in our tradition, we always glorify a person who follows tradition exactly. And if at all the changes are made, they are only cosmetic, superficial changes. Maybe in the examples that we use to drive home a point, in the language, the core of the teaching is not changed. The method of delivery might have changed. We are all meeting online using the technology. But what I am teaching is what is in the scriptures only. I'm not saying anything new. We are just using the technology, and thank God it is there. We are able to reach people thousands of miles away. And therefore, the teacher says that I have the traditional key that I will give you. So don't you worry. अस्त्युपायो महान् कश्चित् अस्त्युपायो महान् कश्चित् संसारभयनाशनः संसारभयनाशनः तेन तीर्त्वा भवाम्भोधिं तेन तीर्त्वा भवाम्भोधिं परमानन्दमाप्स्यसि परमानन्दमाप्स्यसि अस्त्युपायो महान् कश्चित् संसारभयनाशनः तेन तीर्त्वा भवाम्भोधिं परमानन्दमाप्स्यसि. This verse is almost a repetition of the previous shloka. Almost a repetition, just added for the sake of emphasis. So he says, Kaschit Mahan Upayah Asti. There is Mahan Upayah, a great method. A grand means is there. I can't even describe the full glory of that. It's so wonderful. It's a rare kind of most effective upaya, technique, method, whatever you want to call. It is there. That is samsara bhaya nashanaha. It is a destroyer of the fear caused by samsara. The anxiety, the insecurity, sense of limitation, the sense of wanting, the fear of losing things and people, all that. It will remove. It will destroy all those problems. It will do that. So this samsara bhayanasha, problem destroying remedy is there. There is a medicine and I am ready to give it to you. And then by that, bhavam bodhim tirtva, you can cross over the ocean of samsara. You can do so. You can do so. Not after death, here and now. That is understood. So Bhagavan does not say, what is the use if it is after death? If I say it is after death, there is no proof at all. Who sees or knows what happens to you after death? So I can easily bluff and get away with anything because you are not there to question me because you are dead and gone. So a posthumous moksha is no good. So Vedanta does not want to do that. It says moksha is here and now. You don't have to worry about it. You can check it out for yourself. Therefore, do not criticize Vedanta without studying. That would be unfair criticism. You try, and then if it does not work, you can reject Vedanta. And you won't. You first study systematically, comprehensively, and see what Vedanta has to say. We are confident it will work. Therefore, tena tirtva, by this method, you can get over, cross bhavampu bodhim. Bhava means samsara. You can cross over. Ambodhi, ocean. So ocean of samsara, you can cross over. No problem. And tirtva, having crossed, Paramanandam apsyasi. You will attain the highest ananda. Parama ananda. Supreme ananda you will get. What is that? Purnatvam, a sense of fulfillment, a sense that life is purposeful, wonderful, all that, full. There is not only the destruction of the sorrow of samsara, but there is also going to be a very positive result of supreme bliss. That is called moksha, which is characterized by these two things: end of sorrow and attainment of happiness. That is called liberation. वेदान्तार्थविचारेण वेदान्तार्थविचारेण जायते ज्ञानमुत्तमम् जायते ज्ञानमुत्तमम् तेनात्यन्तिकसंसार तेनात्यन्तिकसंसार दुःखनाशो भवात्यनु दुःखनाशो भवात्यनु वेदान्तार्थविचारेण जायते ज्ञानमुत्तमम् तेनात्यन्तिकसंसार दुःखनाशो भवात्यनु दुःखनाशो भवत्यनु. Here he briefly mentions the medicine to be given. The medicine is Atma Jnana, self-knowledge, born out of Vedantic inquiry. So the idea behind this is whatever you are seeking in life is already with us. Therefore, we are not going to get them from the external world. They are not there in the external world. The fullness, the purnatvam, the completeness, it's not in the external world. Since everything outside is finite, you cannot find eternity in the external world because everything outside is bound by time. You cannot find security in the external world because everything outside is insecure. And because they are not there, you'll never be able to get them. They are eluding. It's like a wild goose chase, as we say. I've always been thinking that once I complete my education, I'll be fine. Once I get a job, everything will be fine. Once I get married, I will be Purna. And once I get children, that will really be it. Purna. Once I get grandchildren, yes, that's what I need. And once I get them settled, I'll be Purna. This way, I've always been postponing my Purnatvam, completeness. So the very fact that I'm successfully failing, very successfully failing, the very fact that I am consistently failing to get what I want from the outside world, that means there is something fundamentally wrong in my basic approach itself. Why can't I see whether they are already with me or not? Whatever I've sought it from the external world, and it has not done anything for me. So why don't I see if there is something within me? May not be. At least why can't you give it a shot? Give it the benefit of doubt. Try whether I need them from outside. So this inquiry, and through this self-inquiry, Vedanta shows what I think I need, only I think I need, but really speaking, I do not need at all, because they are already my nature. Once I discover they are already mine, then the seeking ends. And I do not acquire them, but I discover them in me. And I discover that I need not go after things. So this requires Vedantic inquiry, because all other science do only objective inquiry. No science does self-inquiry. And the technological and scientific breakthroughs that we have had, we have seen. Some of us have seen in the last 50, 60 years. It's really mind-boggling. It is there, no question. They have invented newer and newer instruments. Technology is there, and with them I dwell deeper into objects, but not subject. Dwelling deeper and deeper into the objective world, I have gone inside the smallest realm of atom and subatomic particles, or in the bigger realm of stars and other things. But I'm never going to find what I need there. I may learn a lot about these particles and stars, but I'll never understand what I want, because all those external things are object oriented. Vedanta is the only thing which is serving as a mirror to look into me. What is the difference between a telescope and a mirror? What is the difference between a microscope and a mirror? With a telescope, you can see everything else except your eyes. With a microscope, you can see again everything else that are so tiny that you cannot see with just your eyes. You can see all that, but even with that microscope, you cannot see your own eyes. So replace all the scope, telescopes, microscopes, and everything, every other scope. Remove all of them and you replace it with just a simple mirror. The uniqueness of the mirror is that it is the only instrument which helps me see my own eyes. I'm seeing outside, but what I'm seeing is myself when I look into the mirror. So seeing the mirror, not really an objective vision. It is subjective knowledge. Simple example. In the same way, all sciences provide us only better and better instruments to study the world, outside world better and better. And Vedanta is unique. It's a unique verbal mirror. It's a mirror made out of words and sentences in the form of teaching. And with that, I come to know I'm not the physical body. I'm not the mind. But I am the consciousness, which is ever the subject, never an object. And that consciousness is Sat Chit Ananda Swarupaha, and that I am. Therefore, he says, Vedantartha Vicharena. It is discovered by inquiring into the matter of Vedanta. Vedanta Artha Vichara. Looking into the meaning, Artha, of what is said through those words and sentences in Vedanta. So, Artha means subject matter. What is the subject matter of Vedanta? It is not matter. Subject matter is a subject which is not a matter. It is consciousness. It is consciousness. Brahma. So Vedanta, Vedanta Artha means Brahma or Atma. Vedanta Artha means Brahman only. Therefore, Vedanta Vichara means Brahma Vichara, Atma Vichara, Chaitanya Vichara, Tattva Vichara. Sarva Adhishtana Vichara. Any word you can use. That is what it is. Through that inquiry, Uttamam Jnanam Jayate. Uttamam, the highest Jnanam, knowledge, Jayate is born. Vedantartha Vichara. So Vedantartha Vicharena Uttamam Jnanam Jayate. So the solution is self-knowledge. Because all problems are centered on the ignorance of that self alone, caused by that alone. Therefore, the self-ignorance has to be removed by self-knowledge. And self-knowledge cannot be gained through any method other than Vedanta. That is why in the Upanishad, Atma is known as Aupanishad Purusha, which means Upanishad Matrena Gamyaha, that which can only be known through Upanishad. So the teacher here says, Vedanta Artha Vicharena. One has to begin to inquire, do the vichara into the meaning of the Upanishads. And this vichara, this inquiry consists of, said it many times, Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. All these three put together, we call it vichara, inquiry, jnana marga, jnana yoga, whatever you want to call. This is inquiry into Vedantasya Artha, the central teaching of Vedanta. We have to emphasize the central teaching because there are so many other topics also discussed in Vedanta. So many things are talked about, but the others are secondary supporting topics. So at the end of the day, we must very clearly understand the import of the purport of Vedanta. And in this study, we may talk about other lokas like heavens, 14 lokas, this, that, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga, and all that. All that will be talked about, but we need to understand, what is the scope, the context of all that, and what is the main teaching. So So many other lokas will be described. The higher lokas, lower lokas. But when we read all that, they are all described so that we may get vairagyam, dispassion towards them. So many lokas are there, up and down, going there, coming back, shuttling back and forth. Therefore, all questions regarding other lokas will not be answered by the Upanishads, because the central teaching of the Upanishad is not the other lokas. So, like that, as you study, you must clearly, keep in mind what is the main teaching, central message. We need to discover that. So, whatever is not the central teaching, generally will be briefly discussed to the extent that is required, so that we can get the self-knowledge. So self-knowledge is what is the main message of Vedanta. Similarly, so many other topics. For example, in Taittiriya Upanishad, we are talking about Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. All the discussions are going on. But interior to all that is the Ananda Atma, and that is you. We need to get to that, not get lost in the other discussions. All of the other discussion is there so that you can understand what they are and then negate them. Like that, so many other things. Cosmology, the theory of creation. This theory of creation is presented in so many different ways in different Upanishads. So that itself says that that's not the main teaching. So it will be discussed. It may not be exhaustive. It may not exactly be consistent from one Upanishad to other and all that, but that's okay. Because there is a discussion of all anatma. And that is not the teaching of Vedanta. It's about Atma, discovery of the self. So we should clearly know what is the central theme and what it is not. Otherwise, we will study the Upanishads for all other kinds of subsidiary topics, and we will lose the main goal of Vedanta. So Vedanta Artha means only the central theme. And that is, I am not a limited entity, I am the limitless consciousness. Central theme alone is called Jivatma Paramatma Ikyam. The oneness of the Jivatma and the Paramatma. In Upakramadi, Shadvidalingaihi Tatparya Nirnaya Kartavya. We studied elaborately in Vedanta Sara how through 6 steps we have to determine the Tatparya. What is the import? What is the central theme? Upakrama, what is said in the beginning, and samhara, upasamhara at the end, conclusion. What is repeated many times. And, what the comparisons that are given. What is praised. So with all that, we need to determine what is the main theme. That is of utmost importance. Don't get sidetracked with so many other things. So the inquiry also, not as we like. You cannot do it just any which way you want. A certain methodology is prescribed for the vichara, for the inquiry. So it is known as Mimamsa Sampradaya. If we do not adopt that methodology, again we will not get much out of Vedanta. There will appear a bunch of contradictions. Therefore, the central theme can be arrived at only using the appropriate key called Mimamsa Sampradaya. Mimamsa is the analytical tool. So how the analysis has to be done? By that method, when a person does the Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, then Uttamam Jnanam Jayate. Knowledge will be born. You will get this knowledge. It's called Paravidya in Mundakopanishad. If you have studied Mundakopanishad, you will recognize the term Paravidya. And in Bhagavad Gita also it is said, in the 9th chapter, it's called Rajavidya, the king of all knowledge. Uttama Jnanam. Uttama Jnanam. It deals with the highest reality. So it is called Uttamam because that alone is the liberating knowledge. In any other branch of science, the more you study, the more you know how much you do not know. It is called specialization. As you study more and more about something, you know less and less of everything else. An eye doctor who specializes on the eyes alone does not know naturally everything about other parts of the body. He might have a general idea. If he's constantly out of breath, even when he's not exerting himself physically, he has to go to a lung doctor, pulmonologist, or a heart specialist to find out what is wrong. He may be an eye surgeon, but for some other thing, he has to go to that specialist. This is the case with any other branch of science you study. Vedanta is the only science which tells you you are the infinite. That alone can remove the sense of all limitations. All our emotional problems are centered on the sense of limitation only. All desires, anger, depression, anything, ultimately you connect, have a sense of limitation. And that will be removed by this knowledge. Therefore, tena, because of aham purnaha iti jnanena, the knowledge that I am full, complete, atyantika samsara dukkha nashaha. There is a complete cessation of all sorrows. Now, dukkham means all kinds of psychological pain, not physical pain. Vedanta cannot remove physical pain. Vedanta does not guarantee freedom from your body aches. If you have your knee aches, if you have difficulties sitting down and getting up or out of breath and all that, Vedanta cannot solve all those problems. But Vedanta can deal with the mental pain called dukkham. So in Sanskritam, pain is called by two names, Adi and Vyadi. Vyadi is physical and Adi is mental. For example, when a child falls sick, it is only Vyadi. The child does not know how to worry about the disease. The worry is done by the parents. And the child does not worry, what will happen to me? Is there a cure for this? It feels Vyadi, the biological pain. So it complains. It's hurting here, it's doing this, it's doing that. But it does not have Adi. The Vyadi causes a lot of Adi to an adult person. And it is interesting, you all know, even actual Vyadi may not be needed. Even imaginary Vyadi creates a lot of mental anguish, Adi. This is called samsara. We don't call Vyadi as samsara. Adi alone we call samsara. And it is that he has referred to here as dukkham. It's called samsara dukkham. It's caused by the sense of limitation, by the sense of dehatma bhavana. So when you gain the knowledge, through the Vedanta Vichara that you are not limited, that you are infinite. So samsara dukkha nashaha bhavati. There is destruction of samsara dukkha. That destruction is atyantika. Good. The samsara dukkha, along with the root cause of ignorance, is destroyed. This is the most important thing. Without Vedanta, we may secure some peace of mind by going to some temples, by going to some ashrama, doing Tirtha Yatra, whatever it is, or doing, practicing Ashtanga Yoga, to the eighth step, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Oh, how so peaceful it was. All that is fine. We have so many escape routes by which we forget our worries. All those escapist routes are only temporary. Some people try to get that through tamasic means also. But this one, it is atyantika nasha. It's absolute, total destruction. This alone can be called moksha. The others are some temporary relief. It treats its symptoms, that's all. Moksha is freedom from worry. And it also does not have anything to do with mysticism. It's not a mystic experience. Moksha is freedom from worry. It's an understandable condition. Yes, free from all worries. When will it come? Anu, after this knowledge. Anu means anantaram eva. Only consequently, as even what you call knowledge is assimilated, the release becomes clear. Just as the physical fever goes away, as the medicine gets absorbed into the body, similarly, samsara fever will go away. As even the wisdom is assimilated. Whatever delay is there is only in gaining the knowledge. The moment the knowledge is gained, sorrow ends. So that is how the word anu should be understood. Knowledge itself is moksha. As you get that knowledge, and it is just not intellectual knowledge. That knowledge, that abidance, as you get that, samsara goes away. So we have to do the Vedanta Vichara. All three steps, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is what will give you that abidance. So Vedanta Vichara is a tried and tested method. And that is what the Guru is going to teach. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shante 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om